Shut up and sit down.
I don't know what we're doing.
All right, ladies
anymore.
and gentlemen, I had to get that early video. That's how we do social media here at the BC WrestlePod. Not very well, but you have joined us for the Bi-Conic's Review of Honor again for this week. I am JVL, joined as always by Jesse next to me and in the house, Mikey on the ones and twos, and Andrew with all of the hot takes. Gentlemen, welcome to this review today. How are you all feeling?
Good enough. I'm actually kind of excited to review this one because for once I don't have a whole lot of negatives. I've got one bad one, but we'll get there.
Oh, well, if you have not joined us for this before, first off, put your hands in with us. We start off with the code of honor. We shake on it, make it go. Now Andrew's the heel this week. He doesn't want to shake with us.
I thought about it.
He thought about it. But if you haven't joined us before, we are going to go through Ring of Honor for this week, give you not only kind of a little overview of what happened with it, but also kind of our views on storyline, character development, what worked, what didn't, and how much we don't agree with each other or how much we do agree with each other. So a little bit of everything for everyone involved. If you've gotten this far into the video, maybe you should probably drop us a like, a subscribe, or anything else on BC WrestlePod. Like the video, share our others in the back catalog, and drop comments about what you like about the show or what you don't, because either way, YouTube likes the engagement. Now that I've got the housekeeping out of the way, gentlemen, we are starting the evening off following the trend that AEW has brought to most of their newer shows in the last month. It's not going to be a match first; it's going to be a cold open. But ROH does it backstage. They don't do it in the ring. It's always a backstage promo. And we open with Stokely Hathaway suspending Eddie Kingston. I loved this promo, guys. I don't know about you all. I love Stokely Hathaway so much.
I liked the promo. It was done well, but I feel like this is just... It's almost like them going like, oh, you don't like us not using ROH titles on ROH? Well, let us give you a story reason why.
That was exactly my point. I didn't like this. I think it was poorly done, honestly. And it wasn't, for me, it was frustrating because we didn't get to see the actual suspension. It was just by the way, like, you got to be in the know and watch all the other shows to know what's going on, which is not good for somebody who's just watching Ring of Honor. It was like, hey, here's another title we're going to reference and not show.
But we jump right from that into our first match of the night. Mikey and I talked about this. We were going over the card for the night. It was before they came out, Matt Sydal and Christopher Daniels, who have been a tag team in the past, very excited about the two of them together, versus Diet Wyatt, the Righteous, basically. I would love any and all takes on this because you know how I feel about the Righteous in promos. I love them in the ring, but this was a put together match that seemed like Daniels had a hand in moving things around. It was kind of in his wheelhouse.
I really like this match. I mean, shocker. I like the Righteous. I really do. I love when the audience engages and they're all doing the snap as they're coming down. It's captivating for me. I thought it was a pretty good match. It was, a little slow at times, but I also thought it was a good showing for Matt Sydal to show everyone, hey, I'm a veteran and I can really do this well because it cut up really good spots. It had the ending that I thought was appropriate. It was a simple, good storytelling. It made me happy. This was a good match. I was very happy with this.
Yeah, I thought it was a good, fun tag team match. Two veterans going out there performing solid like they both always do. It was good to just see more action from the Righteous. Seems like that's a tag team they're going to be pushing. I'd like to see...
They were busy tonight. They were already in another match, so...
With 3 other tag teams. And I'd like to see more actual, fully flushed out tag teams facing other tag teams in just 2-on-2 tag team matches. So this was nice to at least see that, and the Righteous looked really solid in it. I feel like they're good characters to have kind of going towards that tag team title with some of the other teams they got.
Mm-hmm. Mikey, are you a fan of the Righteous now that they've got rid of Stu Grayson and kind of can actually be themselves again?
I'm not happy that we got rid of Stu Grayson because who knows where he's at this point. This was a good tag team. This opener match. Of course, when you get Christopher Daniels and Matt Sydal in the ring, you already know. I was like, all right, well, I don't got to worry about too much craziness. Dutch makes me laugh every single time. And today was the day where I picked the wrong match to watch, and somebody was looking over my shoulder when Dutch did the snake tongue, and I was just like, it's not what it looks like, I promise.
I gotta say that's the one thing that bugs me is the tongue thing, because that seems like something the way he portrays himself 99% of the time without the tongue doesn't, for me, it just doesn't feel like that's the same, like that action should be done by that character. It comes off, I think, in a way that I don't know if it's supposed to, but it just doesn't fit for me.
For me, it comes off as silly as opposed to the menacing that he's going for. I can see that fitting better with Vincent than with Dutch.
Yeah.
I agree.
Well, either way, the Righteous end up with the victory in this one. They go out there and kind of, they don't crush the veterans. It was competitive, so that was nice to see, and kind of a good way to start the palette on the night. We then cut backstage to our, I don't know if she's second favorite. It's like 1 and 1A with Renee and Lexi. They're kind of there for me in both the thing. Lexi interviewing Ethan Page about his plans for tonight as he's taking on Josh Woods later in the night instead of Tony Nese, who stopped his 5-match win streak. Pretty solid promo, kind of all the way through. Lexi was amazing as per usual, and we got a cocky Ethan Page being a little upset.
My only take on it was effective in kind of doubling down that we're refreshing this character to quarter ego, not for all ego. But at the same time, to me, it was just another like, oh, hey, I'm going to reference another title we haven't seen on the program in 8 weeks.
So we move from the promo to Layla Hirsch versus Robin Renegade. The Renegades were busy tonight. They had a lot of work to do, but we have a kind of a get-right match for Layla against Robin themselves, and Robin has improved in the last couple of weeks. It seems like she did a pretty clean, pretty safe match.
I thought that I thought that Robin looked good in this match. I thought they did enough to show, especially with the size difference, or I should say the height difference at least, that, they did enough of her kind of being like kind of angry and mean in the beginning to kind of give some opposition to Layla for Layla to come back and have, that victory. I would have liked for it to have been a little longer so we could see more dominant moves by Layla. But I thought for what it was nice because for me, it was just past the line of being a squash because there was so much in the beginning for Robin. So I thought it was a decent match for both of them.
So Robin definitely got more offense than I was expecting her to. For this, I'm going to reserve my judgment because after the ending of the match and we had the save and it wasn't who you expected it to be, I started thinking, what did this accomplish? What purpose did this match serve? But I'm going to hold any of my judgments until, a few more weeks to see where this goes.
Especially with the promo that was cut afterwards. And Mikey, as Jesse alluded to, Rachel Ellering appears out of nowhere to save Layla Hirsch. Kind of out of the blue. I know they have a history in some of the indie feds where they've actually wrestled a couple times, but did you feel this was kind of the right move, Mikey? Something that could further the storyline in kind of a good writing type of way?
Well, I'm personally excited because I love Layla, I love Rachel, and I'm interested to see what kind of story we tell with these two going forward. Rachel Ellering being teamed up with a very tiny, muscly woman is something that I've already seen, and that worked very well when she teamed up with Jordan Grace at Impact. So if this is what we want to do with Layla, I'm not against it.
I'm just going to say this now. I've seen this match every week for the last 3 months. I love the performance. They're amazing, but I'm moving on. Anybody else have anything to say about Darius Martin and Lee Moriarty?
Tiger Style is dead.
I'm bored of it. They need to abort this storyline, get them working with different people. They're great performers. This was my bathroom break match.
I did take a break to the bathroom.
I mean, the fact that the commentary tried to talk about like, oh, this reminds me of back in the day when you would see, the same wrestlers wrestle each other in and out, inside and out, and go on and on about it. I was like, it felt like another comment on exactly like we're going to see this again. And it didn't feel like
referencing pre-television, like
pretty much.
Yeah.
We then had Josh Woods coming out with the Smart Mark Sterling to take on Ethan Page, set up in the early part of the night and before, and wow, this was a competitive match. This was really well put together. And then I got angry, but I'll deal with that in a second. So let's see what the match first. The match itself up until Interference City. Let's go from there. So boys, tell me about how good Josh Woods versus Ethan Page could have been and was.
I thought it was a good match. I really enjoyed Josh Woods kind of picking apart Ethan Page's shoulder. That was kind of a brutal attack on that. I'm going to reserve my statement about the end. It's very similar to John's until after the two of you give I'm curious for your takes as well.
I mean, I thought it was a solid match. But Ethan Page is always a good in-ring performer. Josh Woods is obviously a really good athlete. And so I thought the two of them did exactly what you expect of them. It did surprise me when I saw Ethan Page in there with Josh Woods to realize, like, just remember how big Ethan Page is, because I mean, he was pretty comparable in size. They're just obviously built a little different. But I'm really hoping that this is another step towards all ego, that we're going to see him do some kind of snap towards this. But I was much more a fan of where he was before he lost to Tony Nese, and thought they were building him in a good way that way. So yeah, I hope they do something well with it.
As soon as this match was announced, I really enjoyed it. And I think this is where we're going to have our first disagreement, because I think I know where you, John, are going to go with the Interference City. I didn't mind it.
Why is Josh Woods happy to have other people win his battles? He complained about this when he was losing in the Pure Rules tournaments and having Mark Sterling up on the ropes and costing him matches. He said straight out, I need to prove that I can do this, when he split off from Tony Nese the first time. And now he's just ecstatic about it. He's celebrating on the ramp like, yes, this was the plan. Josh Woods, for being all the heel that he is a heel that can take care of his own business. Why are we putting him back with this crap?
The reason that they're putting them back together is because it's going to turn into the inevitable Josh and Tony Nese doing tag team matches, because the majority of your tag team is often other places. So they need to throw single wrestling. Because they lack the depth, because a certain other television program keeps taking all of the talent from Ring of Honor. So this one didn't make
depth. You know what else lacks depth, Mikey?
What?
The Pure Rules division.
What division?
Exactly. It's Josh Woods by himself.
JBL, I need you to not grip the microphone, because I don't need you having a full on rage moment quite yet.
Let me push that vein back down. I thought it made Josh Woods look weak, and I thought it made Ethan Page look stupid. That didn't help either of them. This had the promise to be such a good match. It delivered till 20% towards the, 80% of it was great. The last 20%,
I'm okay with it if Ethan Page snaps and then we get this little part of his brain that all ego is locked up in.
I approached it looking at it for Ethan Page. I didn't even think about the Josh Woods thing, and I think part of the reason is, like you all said, his whole thing has been wanting to go after the Pure title, but we haven't seen the Pure champion wrestle since he wrestled what's his name, Nick Wayne, and that wasn't even a title match. I almost forget about that storyline, so for me watching this match, it was almost more like I was watching Ethan Page's storyline. But yeah, no, it didn't look good for either of them.
Oh, but don't you want to talk about Mogul Embassy regaining the ROH 6-man tag team championships?
Yeah, let's talk about that. Another tongue-in-cheek. Hey, here's more titles on the program on this specific Ring of Honor, but they're not here again.
The trios championships are props to AEW. They are not worth it, and of course they can't defend them on this one because this was taped before they won. So obviously they couldn't come back.
Which, was funny that they made the comment when Gates of Agony show up later about, oh no, the belts are getting polished.
Mm-hmm.
Ian and Caprice, man, you guys try. I totally give you.
They are doing their best.
They're trying their best.
To Angelico versus Metalik versus Slim J versus Gringo Loco in a 4-way survival match. It seemed like they saw people. They switched two people out and they brought people that fought each other. They thought that last week it worked so well, it was beautiful to watch. Let's try it again, and it didn't disappoint. It still was a fun match, and I'm always in awe of Angelico's extreme amount of talent in counter wrestling, submission wrestling, and just inventive wrestling. Mikey disagrees. I can see from his posture.
I This was very similar to the Darius Martin Lee Johnson match earlier, where I was just like, wait, didn't we just see this last week? And there were some really fun spots in this, but since it just happened last week with 50% of the same people competing, this one just came up short. Like, I felt like we were seeing the lesser version of what we saw last week. And no hate against any of the performers in it. They did good jobs, but it just didn't have that same energy, and it just didn't feel like, especially with Angelico going to fight, he's supposed to get a title shot, which, I mean, at this point, I'm assuming is going to be Final Battle. But have him in a singles match where he can look good and beat another competitor and have him build up that, that record. I know what, the outcome of this was good for him, but I would rather see something that's going to progress more with, him going towards that title than just another 4-way match.
I feel that we just saw this match last week and it didn't have the same oomph to it. This match was like the Wish.com version of what we got last week. It was serviceable, and that to me is worse than me saying that it was bad. At least bad has some tenets to it. Serviceable is like not good, but not bad either. Yeah, I mean, Angelico gets the win, sure, fine. Final Battle is so far away. How do we build this story out for like 8 weeks?
You suspend the champion.
Don't even get me started, because I had a lot of feelings.
My God,
on
Andrew,
that,
you're a genius. Why didn't they think of this, Andrew? My God.
I bit my tongue at the top of this because I had so many feelings. I've never liked the let's suspend the champion. And yes, I know you have to find a story reason for so. Because at first, Stokely Hathaway made me feel like an idiot because I thought I missed something when he started Ring of Honor tonight with that announcement. I was like, did I miss something here? And it made me question my credibility as a wrestling fan because I was just like, wait a minute, I'm usually on top of this kind of stuff. And I started having existential crisis. And then I come to find out, oh no, this is the first time we do it. And I was like, Stokely Hathaway, you turd. How dare you do this to me? You made me have an existential crisis for no reason. If Eddie's not coming back immediately, have Angelico do some sort of mini feud with somebody.
I'm not hard disagreeing. The match was what it was. It wasn't as good as last week's version of this. I still thought it was entertaining. It was one of those highlight reel matches. I enjoyed watching it. It's not like I'm saying I wasted my time, but I do agree it wasn't as good as last week's.
We move on from that divisive match between the group here to a decently divisive promo. We have Sanjay Dutt actually talking by himself. He doesn't have Team TNA around him. He does.
I love this.
I forget how good of a promo he can be when he's not trying to carry Jeff Jarrett. It's amazing.
Shocker. Again, I didn't like this. It was more of a, hey, title's still not here. Go screw yourself. It's very much what it felt like for this promo and the opening promo.
Because we now move on to Rachel Ellering taking on Little Mean Kathleen, or LMK. There was some inventive heel things. I haven't seen LMK work before, and seeing her entrap Rachel in certain ways, or getting her to not know what's going on. It was a fun kind of comedy-esque match where Rachel could have and did a lot of big, strong woman spots. But I love the commentary bit. She looks like she's a school teacher out there, just disappointed in the person she's with.
If I could get away with being a teacher and a part-time wrestler, that would be the dream. I am a big Rachel Ellering fan. This match ended up being what it was. I was more interested in the interaction we get later on tonight between our two women and where that can go.
Jesse, you're oddly quiet.
I've got nothing to add that wasn't already said. It was a quick, another squash, and I don't know, I didn't love it. I guess I didn't appreciate it as much as everyone else here, but, I've got nothing else to add.
And then we had another out-of-control match. The Gates of Agony taking on the Wingmen, taking on Iron Savages and the Infantry. And this, to me, I will sum it up with what I can. Pretty Peter Avalon tries to get a promo in. It's basically what this match was.
We'll start with the positive. For me, it was better than the previous week's 4-man tag match. Okay. That's it. Okay. Now look
this
at me.
This had my moment of the night, man.
Okay. What are we doing with these tag teams? You've got a fair amount of good tag teams. I know Mikey was saying how we have lack depth. Okay, I might agree to some points, but at some points I don't. We've got the Iron Savages, who are very well over. We've got the Mama's Boys, which Andrew coined, who are actually working really well together, and they seem to be getting better every week, which is great. Then we've got Gates of Agony. We've got the Infantry. We've got the 2 other tag teams that we saw earlier tonight. We have an 8-man tag coming up. Why are we just smashing all these tag teams together in one big match, hoping for the best? Cool. Each team gets a spot and then go home. What's the point? Who is this helping? Give us more one-on-one tag teams, establish a division, bring the damn belts back onto the show, and that'll really help so they know what they're doing it for, have some motivation behind it, and stop throwing 8 teams, 4 teams, 12 teams, however many teams, like spin the roulette. Let's put these teams together in a match and expect me to be entertained and actually care about building a story or building a division. Stop it!
Yeah, it feels like the way that Ring of Honor handles its tag team division is similar to how other companies handle their women's division, where it's just, we don't know what to do with you, so we're just going to put you all together in a match and have you go out there and do stuff.
I'm going to be on an island for this one. I actually really enjoyed this match.
This match had my moment of the night, so I'm with you on this one, Mikey. That's go
Does
for
it
it.
have to do with one certain Iron Savage and his line that the mic picked up?
Before that, so no, it was not.
That was a good line, though.
I think
Listen.
Bronson and Tony Storm need to have their own little match with like a mixed match challenge with somebody where they can yell at people.
There's a reason we call this the Bi-Conics, because ya boy was laughing really hard. I was like, sir, I can't believe the mic picked that up, but also, cool?
Good on you.
Sir, this is a Wendy's.
Sir, Sorry.
No, my moment of the night was early in the match, Peter Avalon was trying to pin Beefcake and kept getting bench pressed off of him back into a pin.
That moment was
with
great.
Like 3 or 4 kickouts.
I loved it.
It's so much fun to watch him do it. And Peter Avalon, you are an amazing performer to sell that well, because obviously you're getting more height than he obviously would have.
Ring of Honor is using you better.
I do have to say, I did enjoy the match. It's just frustrating because, like, I thought there was some really good tag team action in there, and I would like to see it in tag team matches, not these big giant matches. I mean, at this point, though, at least, like, do something with the 6-man titles. Like, at least you're going to be using them closer to tag teams, but yeah, it's all wrapped up in the same issues that Ring of Honor keeps having.
I've grown so weary of the formula. We have every tag team gets their spot. Cool. They get one big spot, pop the crowd. Great. Okay. Tag klaxon, everybody out of the ring, Gates of Agony, punch somebody in the face and win. That's it. That's what it's been the past 3 of them. It's not fun to watch.
We'll talk about the other 8-man tag match, which had 2 wrestlers who definitely were creator wrestlers on the same side in the same one.
We got to recap that Mark Briscoe is back.
Yeah,
Briscoe, that's what it was. Yeah, Mark Briscoe basically getting a shot at the title as well and winning on that stuff. So
Then
feel
we get
good
to
for
the
Mark Briscoe.
saddest triple threat match that I have seen.
I believe it, but you got to give Mark Briscoe more wins. He's still a sentimental favorite. We had Action Andretti versus Nick Camarado versus Lee Johnson. Johnson coming off his honeymoon.
Congratulations to him and Julia.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we at the Bi-Conic salute the awesome, loving couple. This match was
That's our
sad.
take on this. This match was incredibly sad. I did love that commentary as Nick Camarado was entering was like, he should be careful running with that lollipop in his mouth. That's not something I would do.
So,
Jesse liked this
commentary.
match. Jesse enjoyed
I
this.
actually kind of like this match. I want to see more of Nick Camarado. Like,
We all want to see more of Nick Camarado. But that's not,
yeah.
Nick. I said N, right? Nick.
you
Okay.
said Nick. Nick
Okay.
with an N. Nick.
All right,
Yes.
just making sure of that. No, I enjoyed it. I liked seeing him against the 2 high flyer styles. I thought that worked pretty well. I thought they had pretty good chemistry together. Was it the greatest triple threat match? No. Was it the worst match on the card? Hell no. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed watching it. I had a good time, and I'd like to see more of Nick Camarado on the program.
I think I ranked this one lowest for me because of what I've seen the 3 people do, and they did not live up to my expectations. While other matches may have had their issues, I think they met what I expected from them. But I will say it was nice to see Nick Camarado back in the ring, and if Eric Bugenhausen isn't doing anything and he got signed to Ring of Honor, can you make those 2 a tag team? Because that would be amazing.
Oh my gosh, yes.
That would be wonderful. I forgot I missed a note here. The ending of the match was I will completely say that.
This match, if we take out the two guys who have fought all over the map, Lee Johnson and Action Andretti, who are always fighting each other, take them out and put Nick with anybody else, better match. It's because it's two other guys that have fought each other 7 billion times over the last month, and all the change in this was, let's stick one of our biggest guys in there who definitely can move, but now all we're focused on is Nick. We don't care about the other two for that much because it's the same match again. It just didn't hold water for me. I'm with you. Nick Comoroto needs to be out there doing more stuff. I'm glad he's out of the whole like QT Marshall Factory thing now and on his own.
Thank the Lord.
He's a better draw at this point than the other two in that. It needs to be kind of washed under the rug.
Listen, I'm never going to complain when Nick Comoroto is on my television screen. I think he has improved a lot. He's gotten out of the vortex that was the Nightmare Factory / QTV. I still don't know how I feel about commentary comparing him to Razor Ramon. I need to see him do a little bit more to that. I love Nick, but he's...
I give you the Diamond Stud.
Interesting. Okay.
I wouldn't say he's Razor Ramon because he doesn't have the machismo, but I could definitely see the Diamond Stud back when he was working with DDP as his manager.
And this was the only moment tonight I had to look at Caprice and Ian with the side eye. I was just like, you guys are reaching, and I know you're trying, but we know that's a damn lie.
We actually had another great women's match come up here. It wasn't, again, another squash. This was the other Renegade, Charlotte, taking on Kiera Hogan. And they also had great chemistry in the ring. I was really, really impressed with how the Renegades have improved.
I was also really sad of how little people were in the audience for this match because this deserved it.
I really enjoyed this match. I was happy. I wasn't thrilled with the ending because I'm a big Renegades fan. I'd like to see more of Charlotte. And I'll leave it there.
I thought there were some moments of, it looked like there's some moments of maybe miscommunication between the two of them. But I thought it looked good for them. It's nice to see another women's match and Kiera Hogan coming back. But the same with the Layla Hirsch match. I would have liked to have seen more offense from Kiera Hogan. Because it felt like, again, it was a lot of beatdown and then get a big comeback and just scoop up a victory. But I'd like to see some more offense because I know, what she's capable of. And I think eventually matches like that will not only serve if the Renegades aren't going to win, if they're at least going to look good in a loss when, they can face someone for a longer period of time. So.
I will say I was really impressed by Charlotte having these really good natural heel instincts and tactics, and they go really well with her character.
Mm-hmm. Well, same for the tag team as well. I will say this too. I had known the card ahead of time, so I knew this match was coming up. But after the interference we had, or the save we had earlier in the night, I feel like this should have been a Rachel Ellering versus Charlotte match because it was set up earlier to be kind of better in line with it. Not that I didn't want Kiera Hogan to have a match and have it get a win. But I just feel like storyline-wise, it kind of made more sense that now they've set this up because Rachel got involved. We do get a kind of an explanation for what Rachel did, though, in the promo right afterwards, where Lexi's interviewing Layla about, Maria didn't show up for her at this point. Did you expect that? And someone else did. And Rachel comes in and just, kind of tries to put it out that she's a good person, felt she was doing the right thing. I mean, not badly delivered. More out of Layla Hirsch than I've ever seen in terms of pathos. This was interesting. Jesse didn't like it, so...
It's not that I didn't like it. I mean, it existed. It served its purpose. But I raise my bar a little bit higher. The bar for me is not served its purpose. I want something that's engaging and that I'm excited about. It was good for establishing right? Rachel. Shut up. It was good for establishing Rachel Ellering, but that's about it.
I feel like it's going to just eventually build to a match between the two of them, whether that happens next week or it happens in a few weeks. I'm never sure with Ring of Honor sometimes. But I think that's one of the steps that it's going to build towards, and obviously towards this Hirsch and Maria storyline. Hopefully that means they're going to do some stuff with Rachel Ellering now too.
So I actually like this, and here's why. I don't think Ring of Honor and I think the same, but I actually think that this is a device because I think this is all set up by Maria because this whole entire time Layla has been chasing her. Now, I'm not saying that Rachel is working for Maria, but eventually I think what's going to happen is that Maria is going to take an interest into Rachel, is going to build Rachel up. Normally I hate jealousy storylines, but I feel like this is going to give Layla more of a killer instinct than what she's been showing, because she's been doing the killer instinct thing, but it's not enough. You have to have more than that. But I do think this builds up towards Layla versus Rachel, and then we come to find out that Maria has been pulling the strings from behind to get Layla to discover what it is that she needs.
Oh, Dalton Castle and the boys, and Gravity dressed as one of the boys, which, oh, that was wonderful. And then we had JD Drake and Griff Garrison and Vacant 1 and Vacant 2.
So, I don't have much to
I'd like
say.
them to come out in the mocap suits.
They have to.
The mocap suits. I will say from an entertainment standpoint, this was my match of the night. The wrestling-wise is going to come afterwards, but I might be biased just because of who's involved in the main event. But I had to pause because I was clapping and acting a fool when I saw Gravity coming out as one of the boys. I was like, Dalton Castle, we are adding to the diversity quota that is your boys roster.
And then he wanted to be used as one of the boys. He's like, throw me over. And he just
I was upset when we were denied. I was upset we were denied that.
I was beyond upset. I was pissed.
And then we got it. We got the Topicon hero. It was great.
It paid off.
I will say this a million times over. Dalton Castle brings some sort of magic to any ring that he's in. Whether he's playing that he's unhinged, anything else, he has the physicality to back up the corny humility and humor in his stuff. I can't take my eyes off of him in the ring. It's just too much fun.
I can't not smile and not watch when Dalton Castle's out there. When he does that, when he did that spot, when you just hear him because the mic picked it up, get me a boy. I just started giggling, but it was so good.
Well, and then JD Drake called for the boys and he got super kicked in the face.
Yes.
Can we just shout out JD Drake, because this man is so good. He's in on everything. Like, he plays along so well, and I was just like that. Oh my goodness! I'm like, JD Drake once again.
He get him up for the bangarang?
That's what I was thinking. Listen, JD is a mystery, and I'm here for it.
My only problem is that he took the pin.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was impressive, the fact that he got him up there. I think seeing him hit him with the bangarang was kind of worth JD Drake taking the pin. But there were a few times when he was hitting those T-bone suplexes on everyone that came running into the ring, and he caught Griff Garrison mid-jump and hit him with it. I jumped out of my seat. I was like, holy, I mean, he is so strong and so clean in there. Dalton Castle's
this is after
awesome.
dealing with a broken back, and he's still recovering. That's why he's wearing the weight belt. He was the TV champion when he broke his back and carried that division for almost a full year. Dalton Castle's story is insane, and the stuff he still is able to do.
I mean, Andrew, you referenced Boogs earlier. I'd like to see what happens if we put Boogs and Dalton Castle together.
Oh my gosh!
I'm
not ready.
His engagement with, whether it's in the ring or when he finds the camera, the way that he engages and how entertaining he is, he's so unique. Not just in Ring of Honor, but in wrestling in general. And yeah, I more of him more often. Put him on every episode. Put a title on him. Make him one of your main focuses.
Suspend him and then let him react to that. I did love it after the match. He's out there in the crowd and yelling at the camera, going, "My sparkling personality is what makes you scream." So good. So that was heartfelt, really, really well done. I was brought back. I was so happy. And then my match of the night ended up happening in the main event.
Mine as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Loving Athena versus Mercedes. Athena without her minion and Diamante down there, so shenanigans are happening. And we're in basically Mercedes' backyard with her sister sitting ringside, and you can hear her yelling on the mic, get that. I can't repeat half the stuff she was saying, but it was really good. And these two can work so amazingly together. Oh my God.
I just want to talk about, first and foremost, Ring of Honor. You gave me the best thing I can have this week. You gave me Athena. You gave me my girl Mercedes. I immediately, on paper, was this is probably going to be my match of the night. They delivered. First and foremost, I was expecting the level of violence in my head of what we were going to get. But can I just say that because of Athena and Mercedes, I have to rethink of how hard that barricade hurt and how much it hurts people. Because they were throwing each other onto it, into it, through it, metaphorically speaking. But my
On
God.
top of it with a superplex.
Oh my.
I was watching it in the middle while I was grading papers, and another teacher was passing by and heard me scream, asked if I was okay, had to explain what it was. Then they watched it with me, and then we both agreed that we need to go see a chiropractor afterwards.
Oh my God.
But I really enjoyed this match, and I'm so happy that it was given the time that it was. And then, before we jump into what happens of how Athena retained her title, because I was like, Minion in training. I love Minion number, whatever number she is, but I'll let you guys talk because I can go on and on, but I don't want to be here forever.
I missed Billy in Athena's entrance. She's got just this such infectious, bubbly personality, brings such happiness and light, and I missed her, and I was actually really upset till we got to the ending. I was upset that she wasn't going to be out there. The match was great. I loved it. I definitely was sold on a couple of the 1-2 oohs because there were two of them after like the Fisherman Buster after she smacked the back of her head on the turnbuckle, and then there was one after the first finisher she had done, and then Athena biting her way out of the Brass City Sleeper. Again, great spots, and I definitely was like to the point where I was like, I didn't know who was going to win this match. I was very happy with that. And considering my my rant in the alcove last week about having your women in the main event, whoever's watching this from Ring of Honor, I told you I believed in you, and I told you that you could do better, and you fulfilled, and I am so proud of you. Thank you.
Yeah, this match definitely was my match of the night. That the spots were crazy. I agree with you too. Like there were a few times I thought like, okay, they put this in the main event, and Mercedes is coming away the champion. They set up some stuff great. It was an awesome match to see both of them, how strong they were, and kind of what pinnacles they are in the women's division. And I loved the way that this ended. I loved the new wrinkles it threw into the story that we're building. It was just great to see. And it was almost like I could feel how much fun that they were having getting to tell this story in the ring when Athena and Billy were there. Like, I could feel that, and it was great. It was such good engagement. The only thing that it had me asking is, with this happening now, what are we setting up for Athena at Final Battle? Because I assumed that, this was going to be her big challenge. But now, is that what we're going to build? Is it going to be Billy? Is it going to be something else? But I'm intrigued.
I mean, with the time we have and with the dusty finish, I could see it building to a rematch with some kind of stipulation at Final Battle.
Which would be interesting because as they said in commentary, Mercedes' last title thing was against Athena at the last Final Battle a year ago. So that might be interesting. For those that don't know what we're talking about, at the end of the match, Billy Starks, in an AEW hoodie, jumps out of nowhere and clocks Mercedes with the belt, allowing Athena to hit the Witch's Split and then go ahead and pin her for the 3. Then Billy appears, bringing the belt into the ring, looking at it happily, looking at Athena, kind of sounding like, are we breaking up? Are we doing that stuff? And smiles at her and bends the knee, hands the title back, and reveals the Minion in Training t-shirt underneath in a heartwarming show of, I'm an abused little intern and I love my abuser. But
I love the continuation they had backstage too on social media, because there was a secondary part to it that I saw after I was done watching it. It was so good.
But the biggest thing here is that I can see, since we have a little bit of time until Final Battle, we get right before everyone kind of contending, like everyone that's been involved in the storyline. It's not a proving ground match. It's a triple threat match between Diamante, Mercedes, and Billy. And it's basically Billy wasn't thought to be in the match. Athena thought that she had her back and gets really upset that Billy's going to go in there, and Billy ends up winning to go on to take her on at Final Battle.
And then have Lexi be the special guest referee.
Yes, Lexi be like at
Oh my
ringside.
god.
Listen,
The
if
ring
Lexi
announcer,
ends
like-
up being guest referee, I will say I was just like, Lexi is best backstage person. Period. I love
Cage
her
match.
Oh, ooh.
Yes.
Cage
Lexi
match
on-
Athena and Billy with Lexi as the referee.
Lexi
The
on
main
pole
one.
match.
Oh
I feel
god.
like she wouldn't
On
be
a forklift.
refereeing guest
On forklift.
guest timekeeper or something. Yeah. All right, gentlemen. We've come to it. We've talked about it. We've gone through it. How many empanadas did you eat for the show? Or if you're not doing empanadas, what was your grading scale to begin with? We'll go Mikey, Andrew, Jesse, and myself. Mikey, give us your rating of this very nice evening.
So, surprisingly, I'm going to give this just 8 out of 10 for me, personally.
Ooh.
Here's my reason why. I think for the first time, I feel, well, minus Lee versus Darius, I think that was the only match I didn't really care for, but that's because we saw an iteration of this, not just on Ring of Honor, but across other promotions as well. But I feel like for this week, it was just fun, and that's what made me like this iteration of Ring of Honor, why I enjoyed it so much to begin with when we first got it. It was just fun time. And we also had built a lot of the stories. Though I might disagree, I didn't mind the shenanigans happening in Ethan's match. We're building him up to something. Hopefully we get all ego. Layla and Rachel is refreshing because that is a feud that we have yet to see. So I'm interested in that. Athena versus Mercedes was amazing. And on a personal note, I love now that people are starting to recognize Mercedes as that girl, and she's getting the flowers that she has definitely deserved. And given the fact that she has put in a 20-plus career, and now she's finally getting the recognition she deserves, just makes me even love it more. But this was a fun episode. I give it 8 out of 10.
Andrew?
Nice. This, when I went back and looked at it as a whole, I gave this show basically a C+. And part of that was just there were some low notes, some parts that didn't just wow me. But this show ended with an A+ match. So that definitely, I would much rather leave off on that note than kind of be let down at the end too. So yeah, it was a solid, average show for me.
Solid. All right. Jesse.
All right, before I give my rating, I wanted to kind of thank everybody for allowing me to be part of this BC WrestlePod team. I appreciate it. This is a way for me to express my suppressed feelings. And when you're expressing yourself, no one can ever truly hurt you. That being said, for Ring of Honor, I'm giving this 4.25 empanadas. This is the first one that's broken 4 for me.
Nice.
I really enjoyed this. We developed some stories. The majority of the matches were good, solid matches. The only thing I didn't like was the constant reminder of, oh, this title's not here tonight, and this title's over here, and this title's also not here. But aside from that, I was very happy with this tonight.
Delicious. I also am going to set a precedent tonight as well. I am setting 4.25 as well for the empanadas. I have never broken 4 for any wrestling show I've watched this year. This was the first one basically because of the fact that the overall was better. The average averaged out for me. It was an entertaining watch the way through. I was entertained as I went along, and I had to go back and refer to stuff as I went to it as, oh yeah, that may not have been the highest highlight or anything else. But at the time, I didn't know where it was going, so it was a lot more fun. Gentlemen, we cruised through that thing. We made it through together. Let's put our hands in, observe the code of honor. We truly appreciate having all of you on board here. Remember, if you liked what you heard here or didn't, disagreed, agreed, follow us on BC WrestlePod on Instagram, TikTok, on our YouTube channel. Subscribe and share those videos around. Engage with us in those comments. We've gotten a couple finally. We're starting to get some people talking to us, so please, we want to keep talking to you back. In general, we just really enjoy that you're going along with us for this ride. For myself, for Jesse, for Andrew, for Mikey, and for everyone else watching, remember, you're Bi-Conic. We are all Bi-Conic. And we love sharing, especially this part of this art form with ROH with you. And we'll see you on the next video.